Hello, checking in with the first section of The Brthdy Bys by Beryl Bainbridge. This is told from 5 points of view, at least that's what I'm going to surmise from having read the first section, which is Petty Officer Edgar Taff Evans, June 1910. The next sections are Dr. Edward Uncle Bill Wilson, July 10th, July 1910. The owner, Captain Robert Falcon Conn Scott, March 1911. Lieutenant Henry Robertson Brthdy Bys, July 1911. And finally, Captain Lawrence Edward Titus Oates, March 1912. So yes, this first section is all told in the voice from the point of view of Petty Officer Edgar Taff Evans, Taff, which we'll call him Taff because there's another Evans that will come up as I'm discussing this. So this is him saying like, we've left on the first day of June 1910 from Cardiff, the West Indian dock. And it sort of skips back from there, telling about him because Taft has gone on voyages with uh, with Scott before, on the Discovery voyage. That's the name of the ship, and he recounts some of the really harrowing things that happen, including an instance where basically they're on an icy thing, and one of his fellows, Vince, doesn't have the metal tampons on there that dig into the ice, and just goes skittering back. They miss catching him, and he falls into the crevice. And Evans Taft's only thoughts there are, it's the shameful thoughts of, it's like, I'm so glad it wasn't me. They have the thing here of them falling, him and Scott falling into a crevasse, tied to one of the sleds, and them dangling over this thing and just dangling there, Taft kind of taking it, incredibly afraid, dangling. He said like sweethearts with the thing, and keeping that stiff upper lip, especially because he knows that the owner, Scott. He always refers to him as the owner, though. Expects that. He doesn't want emotional stuff from the lower men. That would make him very uncomfortable. And even in an extreme situation like that, he does. Though Taft also says that, the strangest thing was near-death situation, but despite the cold, he got a hard on, which I think kind of really gets you into the head of Taft. He is this guy who, he's on shore. He doesn't say he has a drinking problem, but he's doing a ton of drinking, apparently. You can tell from in between the lines of like, oh, I like my drink. It's like, yeah, it seems like every chance he gets, he just gets completely blotto. He does a good job, maybe because we're getting this from the kind of the lower class view. He's very kind of the nuts and bolts and matter of fact about things. There is a bit in here of like, well, how do you piss and shit in a extreme weather thing like that? And it's like, you hold your penis in your hand and keep it warm that way. And to be honest, that with crapping, you don't expose yourself. You just crap in your pants and let the frozen poop kind of plop out, but on your legs there, down and out by your leg pants there, which it's just like the glamorous world of Arctic or Antarctic exploration. So yeah, I mean, the big thing to probably say about this is, well, why are they doing this? It's because it's this big push to try and get to the South Pole, to just, to plant the flag at the South Pole. They're competing with Shackleton and various other groups, and this whole section here. A lot of this is about the preparations for the journey, and it's about raising funds. We have the owner having to kind of suffer through all these kind of glad handing events, which they, as the lower guys, are also expected to kind of make their appearances at. We get introduced to a lot of the kind of what you can see are going to be the characters of this novel. We get Lashley, Bowers, kind of a real big, strong guy. You get Captain Oates, who seems to be this kind of really rich, reckless guy, are just eccentric and sort of does what he wants kind of guy. We get Lieutenant Teddy Evans, bloody, as Taft says, because it emerges throughout this section that he that Taft noticed, like, oh, this stuff is wrong in the supplies, at which point the owner just gave all responsibility of that to Taft, taking it away from Evans, who apparently hadn't been doing a good enough job, and thus Evans is definitely rides Taft all the time, and part of that is about his drinking, which, maybe there's a point there, but there's also just a sort of a thing of, you can tell he's got on his bad side. So we're already getting kind of like the tensions in this group. But it's definitely one of these, we're setting things up, we're setting up all the players, and you can see it. Then now we'll as the story goes on, you're gonna apply the pressure to them and see where it breaks, where there's cracks and stuff like that. Indeed, in this section, Taft himself goes, there's a Belgian aboard, Van Winkle, who has got marital problems and seems to be really suffering under them. And he's very much of the opinion, it's like, having an untrustworthy guy aboard a voyage like this isn't just inviting disaster. And when he has his biggest moment in the book, he also slips in, we need to get rid of this guy, which they do. But you wonder, it's like, did he get rid of the right guy? Or, that kind of tensions going up. There's also just the issues we get set up with the issues of the Terra, what is it? The Terra Nova it's a converted whaling ship that they're going to use for this process, but it is possibly, even while it is shored up and it is, they've done all these repairs to it, it's overburdened. Basically, it's wallowing too low in the water, so low that it wouldn't really be allowed by actual regulations, but they figure they need such kind of a large ship. They need all the coal. Like, this bugger is going to use a ton of coal, which is another concern. It's like, are they going to have enough coal to power this ship through the thing? And you can see this is just like yet another issue that you can see coming up down the line, and probably is historically one of these things that probably has gotten debated. So yeah, they have the raising money scenes, which the owner is definitely not that happy with. We get introduced to the owner Scott's wife, who has a tendency to laugh at inappropriate moments. She's very much, you get a real sense of a personality of this woman, even through Taft's point of view of, she's somebody who's kind of like rather a bit scornful and sarcastic about all this stuff, but also does seem to support her husband. We also get a kind of a cool thing of just, you get that sense of like that Scott's motivations for doing this seem to come out of necessity, that he's trying to make a name for himself. He's trying to make money, but this maybe isn't something he would go into just for his own thing. Like, Taft is someone who seems like he's a very restless guy. There's this whole thing of like, when he's in his like home, like on land, he just feels closed in. He feels confined, and very much getting out into these voyages is something he needs, that somewhere that he can kind of operate at his most comfortable and fullest. You do get that sense of like, why are there guys like this? Like, Beryl Bainbridge does a really good kind of thing of painting a portrait of this guy, of why we do this kind of stuff. And at the end, they've got the owner, when it's like the mayor or somebody says like, well, do you think you're actually going to be able to do this? And Scott says to him, I will reach the South Pole or I will never come back again, which, it's a there's that kind of do or die thing. And, from this being a famous failed expedition, disastrous expedition to Antarctica, South Pole, that it is a die situation. I very much think of something like the Apollo movie with Tom Hanks, Apollo 16, Apollo 17. can't remember what it is, Apollo 14, that, we're setting up all the pieces for a historical event and like how things could go wrong. And she's doing really, Beryl Bainbridge is doing a really good job of setting all the pieces, the technical stuff, the lack of money, the personalities involved. Yeah. So I'm quite enjoying it so far. That is section number 1, Petty Officer Edgar Taft Evans. And next time I will go on to Dr. Edward Uncle Bill Wilson, July 1910. So into July then, just a little advance forward, and then we'll skip a year, and then a couple months, and then another year to March 1912. So that's the Birthday Boys. I don't know if I'm going to be this detailed with it each time, just because that means I have to stop and have the time and do the notes. I might just barrel on and just make less detailed notes as I go, but we'll see. All right, more videos later.